Hello, folks. How are we getting on? We're back again, and from a distance, you might think, "Oh, he's doing Blackbush again. He loves it that much. He's doing it twice." Well, I kind of am, but yes and no, because it's a different version. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a wee minute. But I hope you're all well. Uh, Keeping okay. Weather's nice here at the minute. It's beautiful. Honestly, nice. Just It's kind of weather you only really get in Ireland or British Isles, I suppose, all over. Maybe not just so much a bit further down south, and certainly over in South England. Up here, it's clean, crisp, fresh, blue sky, not too hot. Sitting there about 18, 19 Celsius. Oh, it's just lovely. Lovely. You can do anything. You're standing outside and people are going, oh, it's very warm. It's not really all that warm, but they think it is because it's been cold for the last lot of months. So yeah, it's just a beautiful day, beautiful weather. Taking a little walk down by the sea. Oh, it's good for the soul. It really is. But once night draws in, and it's the nights are lengthening. It's not that terribly long. Getting dark at the minute. So yeah, there's a fair draw in the evenings, as I say, I'm go. So yeah, it's heading towards summer. Who knows? We might even get a decent summer this year. Um, Free and able to transplant ourselves all over the place. Who knows? You never know. But tonight I'm having a little bit of a drinky, and I'm going to have this Blackbush Caviste or Caviste. I'm not really sure of the French pronunciation. 43% edition of Blackbush. Now, anyone who watched my Blackbush review will know that I am a massive Blackbush fan. I think it's the most wonderful whiskey for the price of it. I don't think there's a better value whiskey to be had than Blackbush in terms of quality. But it's 40%. Now it's a 40% blend. This is a 43% blend. I'm genuinely saying this now. I can smell that just coming up out of that glass just to me. It's just coming up to me straight away. So why why would one want a slightly higher ABV whiskey when I think Blackbush is for what it is. It's perfect for what it is really. In terms of cost for quality, I think it's, as I say, I don't think there's very much in its league. So what would you want higher ABV for? Now, lots of people these days want cask strength versions. They want high ABVs, and in some ways, it's kind of like a almost like a macho-y type thing where they say, "Oh, I drink it neat at 56%." You drink whatever way you want to drink, and then that's perfectly legitimate. But sometimes you need to water it way down to really get the essence. I mean, the alcohol has no flavour. Ethanol that doesn't carry a flavour with it. It carries a texture, but it doesn't carry a flavour. And the quality of the alcohol coming through complements certain other characteristics in the whiskey. And if it's when you're distilling, it's almost impossible to distill something to 100% ethanol. How complicated it is. It always carries water with it essentially, but it it does carry other little compounds, and some of those can be detected at parts parts per trillion. So there is a slight taste always of ethanol, but I mean it can be minuscule. But in terms of quality, it it lends itself to the other stuff that's being drawn out of the wood and and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's if you when you're pulling something out at 80%, the other 20%, 80% ABV after the distillation, up and around that, we'll say, the 20% carries flavour compounds and carries congeners that then carry on through. So yes, it's it's interesting, but ethanol is higher than 40%. Is it bringing? It's bringing less of those congeners, or do you know what I mean? So you need to water this down. The main reason you would really want higher ABV things is because you can play about with it a little bit. Now, on the nose, it's slightly, almost slightly more acidic. It's slightly higher than the usual, you know, hazelnut and nuttiness and Christmas cake, all of that we typically associate with Blackbush. I know this sounds daft, but it's almost like a packet of crisps, nut flavored crisps or something. That's kind of what you're getting off this. Is that? I know that sounds daft, but that's what it's given me. It's given me like a packet of crisps that open up and they're like hazelnut flavour or walnut flavour. It just lifts it up a little bit. I tell you honestly, that's fabulous. Mm. This is slightly sweeter than the ordinary 40% one. On the finish, you get that chocolatey note, the nuts all still coming through, the Christmas cakey notes, a little bit of mint. I say it's mint, but it's probably because there's slightly more alcohol in it. It's given that mint effect. You know, that sort of menthol effect that you get, where it sort of cleans your mouth. It's that kind of experience. This is super stuff. Really, really good. Nice mouthfeel to it. Nice texture. Lovely balance. Just works on a lot of different levels. The higher ABV is giving it a certain something. It's giving it a little bit more of a punch. Now, this may sound daft. This is 43%. The normal's 40. I think 40 is a 10 out of 10 whiskey. I've always say this. I just think it is. I think it's superb. This is 43%. And this is why we like slightly higher ABVs. Look at the oil in that. Look at it. Oh. A tiny little quarter teaspoon of water just lifts it a little bit more. It just brings it up. It makes it. There's little elements of orange pith, not peel, sort of orange zest just nips out a little bit. There's that kind of wonderful meaty quality that you get with whiskies at times, and it wasn't there. That tiny little bit of water has just done a little bit magic with it, and if I let it sit for a period of time, it'll jiggle about and find itself, and that's what you want with a quality product. You can sit, take your time, let it develop. Go and have a beer, drink half a tin of beer, half a pint of beer, half a bottle of stout, whatever it is you want to do. And you can do that and come back to this, and it's kind of like tangerine flesh, it's just developed. There's more nuttiness now, and I actually prefer this at 43% with a little bit of water in it, which probably takes it down to more or less the 40, and just makes it a better experience because I can sit and play with it. That's the point of these cask strength stuff. It's not that someone can prove, I can drink 60% ABV and blah blah blah. It's nothing to do with that. It's you get to play about with it. And there's some whiskies you're getting at 50, 55, 6%, whatever it is, and it takes loads of water to actually get it down to where you think that's the best I think that's that. And it could, I mean, honestly, surprising how much water some of these take. This is, I've been quite hard on this. The problem with this, now, Saviste is a French term. It means like wine merchant or wine seller or cellar man or this kind of thing. It's to do with people who provide wine, I suppose. Problem with this is it's only available in France. Now, people in the UK and Ireland and whatnot have been desperate to get their hands on Bushmills, cask strengths, Bushmills, 46% Bushmills, and this kind of thing. I've been talking about it for years. And they bring this out and only release it on the French market. Why is this not available to us here in Ireland? I got this, I managed to buy it and get it shipped across to here. Why are they not providing this? And everyone knows that Bushmills has the best, most tasty whiskey stocks in Ireland. You know, the aged product. And yet they're not they just they're not releasing it to us and public. Okay, they might have other plans. There might be a whole load coming, but do me a favour, please, 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 Bushmills, if you're listening, 43%, fine. Send it to our friends across the water in France. Do us a 46% for us here. I promise you, you'll sell it. I promise you, you'll sell it. It's just the most fabulous liquid, and it baffles me. Send the 43% over to France or wherever. Let them enjoy it. Do us a 46% Bushmills, Blackbush, please, because we will really appreciate it. And even do 46% slightly higher on the 16, because it's packed with flavour, packed with it. Yeah, so just if you could, it would be much appreciated. This is getting another 10 out of 10, by the way, because I love it. I just love it. But Bushmills, I hate having to say this, but everybody wants to love Bushmills. Anybody who knows anything about Irish whiskey knows that they just want to love it. And people who have certainly a geographical closeness to it and that kind of thing, well, we do love it. We want to collect it. We want to do all that. There's lots of old bottles of Bushmills floating about, and they're quite reasonable and cheap. I have a couple there opened, just to compare it with the old stuff with the new stuff. I'll let you in a secret, by the way. The old Blackbush ain't anywhere near as good as the new stuff. It's not very often that people say this. Most people hark back to days of yore when we had no shoes on our feet, no food in our belly, but we had warmth in our heart and all that kind of nonsense. Yeah, old Blackbush is not as good as this stuff, as the stuff they released today. And I'm talking about stuff from sort of the 70s and 80s. It's much, much, much harsher. It's thinner. I don't think it's as well distilled, if I'm totally honest. But please, they just keep doing things that don't warm us, don't warm our hearts to them. The Causeway collection, there's some fabulous stuff there. Some, maybe it's not just as good, but hit and miss. That's okay. People are quite forgiving of all of this stuff. But there's no consistency with it. It's one came in a tube, one you don't get. One's in a bottle. One's got a number on it. Some have age statements. Some don't have age statements, but they tell you when it was distilled. And it doesn't seem to be. And then they release them to one to this country, one to that country, one to another country, and call it a collection, and make it really, really difficult for people to collect. I don't know. There's just lots of things that Bushmills really would benefit from. Just maybe just putting a little more thought into it, or a little bit more control or quality control over the top of it. Excuse me. Yeah, I just making the brand the flagship premium brand that everybody knows that they really could and should be. They have lots and lots and lots of things going for them, and it's only minor tweaks. But if they were to do those little minor tweaks, they would sell an awful lot more. Certainly on the secondary market, and I know Bushmills don't take anything to do with the secondary market, but they have to be looking at this because it's so important these days. It's so important. The volume of stuff that's traded on the secondary market just in the UK alone is millions every month. And if they're not looking at this, then they really should be, because the secondary market is really a good indicator of where your brand is. There are bottles coming out that you have to ballot for, enter a ballot for the opportunity of possibly getting yourself a bottle. There's shops that they just can't keep some stuff. And there's no reason in the world that Bushmills higher end stuff isn't in that category all the time. All the time. Because they have the quality spirit. Now, I think at some point they will start to listen. And it'll all start to gel. I mean, this wonderful substance, this wonderful bottlings will fly off the shelf. But this 10 out of 10 again for for Blackbush, and yeah, do us 46% and sell it to us locals, because I promise you, you'll shift it. This, by the way, in France is like €22. You can't buy Blackbush at 40% here for that money. Unless if it's really in special offer, you might get it. And it's only slightly more expensive, but it's more expensive for less tax. And I know the tax in all France, but I mean, it goes to show you that you don't have to be spending these 80, 90, £100 bottles to get something of really good quality. So yes, if you can get your hands on a bottle of this, do so. It's superb. Now, I'm off to enjoy a wee quiet drink. Take care of yourself, guys, and I will hopefully catch up with you very shortly. Alright, bye bye.